the feeling. You need something real, not these dummies. Look, I know a guy who organizes runs an NID, homeless hunting. Put you in touch. Guarantee you'll get some chills then.
What about the cops?
Oh, please. They got bigger problems than a few forgotten meatbags.
A little over 3 years, its own show, and a final update later, and Cyberpunk 2077 is a game that continues to captivate people with its story, characters, lore, and immersive environments. The world of Cyberpunk touches on a lot of different story beats and narrative ideas, but its recurring theme is the idea of saving yourself. You aren't some superhero in a grand tale, or a chosen one trying to save the world. You're some dude who got dealt an awful hand trying their hardest to make the most of it. Cyberpunk, like most sci-fi stories, serves as a social commentary. It hits you with political and social issues from different perspectives, and it happens as early as the beginning of the game. In the Nomad life path, your origin is akin to an immigration story. In the Corpo life path, you're a bigwig who loses everything at the drop of a dime. And in the Street Kid life path, you're just trying to survive the future hellscape that is Night City. Many people felt that the life paths were moot as they all resulted in the same montage sequence, but I always felt like it added to its overarching themes. In a place like Night City, no matter how high or low you are in the social ladder, the city always finds new ways to screw you. Maybe it encourages you to start screwing other people. By the same token, Cyberpunk actively pokes at your moral compass by putting you in the center of numerous fucked scenarios. One moment you're trying to convince a cop to drop a case, the next you're delivering someone to a bunch of goons, aware they probably won't survive the encounter. The crux of Cyberpunk 2077 is, in the midst of the giant trolley problem that is Night City, what's best for you?
In Night City, the city of dreams.
When I see ads dominating the skyline, I think of Times Square. The remnants of a coliseum in Dogtown remind me of Crypto Arena. Japantown streets vaguely remind me of Little Tokyo. The city doesn't sleep. No matter how you explore the world, Cyberpunk always makes you feel like you're in a city that doesn't revolve around you. That every arbitrary NPC has a life and a sense of being. That your existence in NC doesn't necessarily alter it from what it's always been. The idea that this city and its issues were here long before you and will be here when you leave. Ads littering the sky, the increasing homeless population, gangs posted up in different hoods. I remember the first time I walked out of my apartment and I was greeted by 2 cops arresting a tiger claw, followed by a different set of cops, one tearing into the other for playing hero. Every time I hear someone speak, I want to know more about them, how they ended up here, where they're at in life. Every NPC that crosses your path has something to say about the world and where they found themselves in it. Even if you weren't familiar with the Cyberpunk franchise prior, you feel the echoes of past events throughout the game, like the use of the euro over the American dollar, which became worthless, the remains of Pacifica after megacorporations left it to rot, Johnny's bomb detonating in Corpo Plaza. It alludes to the idea that something bigger is coming, something that may come after these time in Night City.
Johnny Silverhand died a legend. Nobody forgets that.
From NC legend to digital tumor, as you progress through the game, your interactions with Johnny become more frequent. A rocker boy terrorist bearing malice for corpse, the game has you delve into his psyche both literally and figuratively. In turn, he delves into yours and you bounce off each other to stay alive. That both of you have died and share a nervous system results in a particular dynamic cementing your relationship. Throughout the game, Johnny frequently gives his 2 cents on the situation at hand and where he stands on it, potentially in contrast to where you may stand. Perspective from someone who seemingly walked your road is Johnny's shtick, and best serves as a means to reconsider your initial take on something. In the broadest sense, he loves freedom, and his hate for corporations typically means he favors people and actions that oppose them, regardless of the cost. He embodies the punk in Cyberpunk, and by extension displays the worst of it. Johnny's contempt for authority is blatant, but he has a particular hate for Arasaka above the rest, so much so that he detonated a nuclear bomb in the heart of Arasaka HQ, killing 20,000 people. His reward? Being digitized in a USB drive. Of the many choices he comes to regret over the course of the story, he never displays any particular remorse for this one, and is quick to criticize some who don't share his conviction. It displays his short-sightedness. Johnny isn't wrong in his assessment of corporations and the government, equating them to forces of entropy. But the fact is, these forces, for better or worse, are woven into the very fabric of Night City. Even if his nuke succeeded in pushing Arasaka out of the city, one of the other megacorporations inhabiting it would take its place. Further putting his methods into question is the fact that his memories can't be trusted. Rogue and Alt suggest that his recollection of events aren't quite objective, but the biggest red flag in his perspective, or lack thereof, is the omission of Morgan Blackhand. Fact is, Johnny and crew were aided by Militech and Morgan during the assault on Arasaka, yet you never see him in the Rocker Boys' memories. In fact, for all your time together, Johnny never mentions Morgan once throughout the entire game. His flawed recollection and use of corporate assistance to oppose corporate colonialism makes him a biased narrator at best and a hypocrite at worst.
This patient of yours, cyberpsycho, you think?
I do not know. For me, cyberpsychosis is an empty word. A label we give to people who are bad, evil, from cyberware or not.
In the mainstream media of 2077, cyberpsychosis is portrayed as psychotic violence stemming from excessive and/or faulty cybernetic installation, but the interactions V has with people paint a more elaborate picture. Potential cyberpsychos typically possess callous traits prior to cybernetics, and the less empathetic or mentally stable you are, the more likely you are to suffer the affliction. A single implant is unlikely to cause cyberpsychosis, but multiple on someone not playing with a full deck eventually results in gradual symptoms. Perhaps they stop showering or eating regularly. Maybe they become indifferent to friends and family, stop partaking in recreational activities. Eventually, interacting with others becomes annoying. The annoyance evolves into hate, and then violence. Plenty of cyberpsychos inhabiting Night City aren't outwardly violent or indiscriminate in who they harm. The recurring theme is indifference to human life, be it theirs, others, or both. Johnny displays it in nuking a building, Lizzie displays it by murdering her manager, and Adam Smasher displays it in his overt desire for collateral damage. Thing is, between Johnny's cult following, Lizzie's celebrity status, and Adam's standing in Arasaka, none of them would be labeled cyberpsychos in a typical sense. This more elaborate look on cyberpsychosis may explain why V never exhibits traditional symptoms, despite their potential to go from squishy meatbag to high-functioning cyborg. 6 months after the prologue, V has friends in Jackie, Misty, Vic, and over time can form more friendships with other people, keeping them anchored to humanity. Alternatively, V can go through Night City with next to no friendships and Borg out all the same, suggesting V may have Johnny's atypical form of cyberpsychosis by sharing a brain and body with him.
Guess I meant, I don't know, a happier ending for everyone involved.
Here, for folks like us, wrong city, wrong people.
Cyberpunk 2077 is about coming to terms with what things are. By the end of the game, no matter what ending you get, you're fucked in some capacity. Either your illness is terminal, or your dreams is a murk dissolve. From there, all you can do is pursue what you feel is best for you. Maybe it's your loved ones, maybe it's status, maybe it's letting go. Night City forces you to figure out what keeps you going when you're out of options and at the end of your rope. What's your answer?